I challenged myself to fix my personal finances in just 48 hours, and it was nothing short of a roller coaster. Scary reality, a 2025 study found 59% of people can't cover a $1,000 emergency, including me. So I made a bold promise I would execute 10 smart money moves back to back within 48 hours. But why? Because I was frustrated with the lack of control from ignoring my finances for so long. Some worked like magic and some crashed and burned. These 10 tasks were designed to give me control of my money that lasts far longer than this challenge. The shocking truth is that this challenge exposed my biggest financial flaws. Spoilers ahead, over 2 days I tackled 10 key actions which I will reveal now, and it was chaotic. Move number 5 totally backfired. Task 1, building an emergency fund. I started this challenge admitting a terrifying fact. I had almost no safety net. Yikes. I immediately committed every spare dollar I could into a new savings jar. Each deposit felt like a small breakthrough. Within just a few hours, I'd saved some cash in a separate bank account and even set up an automatic transfer to keep the momentum. It was brutal admitting how broke I was, but here's where it gets interesting. By hour 4, I'd already screwed up. I bought a useless gadget on impulse and instantly had to take cash back out to refill the jar. This hiccup proved the point. Without a fund, every surprise, a car flat, a medical bill, is handled on credit. Think about it for a second. Life can throw an unexpected expense at you any day. Without cash saved, your only safety net is a credit card. For now, every penny I touch goes into that cushion. It's non-negotiable. If you haven't started your emergency fund, pause this video and do it. Even $5 a week adds up fast when the stakes are this high. Before we jump into the next task, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. It tells YouTube you want more videos like this. Task 2, confronting credit cards. 6 hours later, I had to tackle a major financial hurdle. Credit cards, my hidden debt monsters. Like many people, I had a stash of plastic. On average, people hold 3 active credit cards. Guilty, I had 4. Swipe-happy thinking makes payments feel easy until that 22% APR kicks in. No wonder US credit card debt hit about $1.17 trillion in early 2025. I canceled cards that were just for luxury and comfort, and mostly I never used. I only kept one for emergencies. Here's where it gets really interesting. I realized how badly that empty emergency fund had hurt me. In fact, 25% of all unexpected expenses in the US are charged on credit cards. That means any unplanned car repair or vet bill would be tacked onto plastic. I refused to let that happen again. Within 2 hours, I had canceled 3 cards and started repaying all the high-interest debt on those cards. This gave me a peace of mind and was a huge boost to my future finances. Task 3, cutting subscriptions. By hour 9, I was feeling the momentum. I was feeling pretty confident having completed 2 out of 10 challenges. Next was having a hard look at recurring subscriptions. I was bleeding cash in the dumbest way possible. We all sign up for services thinking, it's only a few bucks, but it adds up. People pay about $90 per month on subscriptions. That's over $1,000 a year, and waste roughly $300 of that annually on stuff they never use. I grabbed my phone and canceled everything I didn't use at least once every month. Streaming apps, bonus memberships, you name it. At first, I freaked out of letting it go. The unknown comfort I was chasing had to go. Knocking off just a couple of services freed up $30 to $40 a month. What surprised me most was what I almost missed. I found several little services still on autopay that I'd forgotten about. Cutting those felt like finding money under the couch cushions. Honestly, canceling them was a way of thanking my bank account. This challenge, though successful, was a time-taking one. We were already down to 18 hours and time for some sleep. Only 3 down out of 10. Will I be able to complete the rest of the challenge? Task 4, curbing impulse purchases. The next big flaw was my impulsive spending, the infamous feel-good factor. Every fancy let's buy that sale item was chipping away at my plan. I instituted a 48-hour waiting rule. If I wanted something non-essential, I had to wait 2 days. That was excruciating. On day 2, with about 22 hours left, I walked past my favorite holiday sales shop staring at me. Normally I'd dive in, but this time I kept walking. It felt like betraying a friend, but it was necessary. Consider this, people spend $2,500 annually on various impulsive buys, even gifts or things they would not want 3 months down the line. Simple awareness, do I really need this? Became a superpower. No more mindless spending, just tiny wins adding up. Task 5, launching a side hustle. With about 21 hours left, I flipped to inflows, thinking if I can't save all the money fast enough, I'll just make some. Sounds smart, right? Here's where impatience met reality. I spent the next 4 hours sprinting, brainstormed in a cafe, sketched a simple budgeting spreadsheet, wrote a short pitch, and blasted it out. Messages to friends, local forums, even one tiny boosted post. I told myself this would be quick hustle money, low effort, fast cash. But here's the twist, nothing converted. Crickets, not even a tell me more. Worse, a few people asked for free samples and then ghosted. One person pointed out a flaw in my spreadsheet formulas. That's humiliating, which meant I spent now the whole next hour fixing a bug I should have tested earlier. Meanwhile, the clock kept ticking. Tick, tick, tick. Now let me be blunt. This wasn't just no sales. It backfired. That 5-hour all-in drained my energy, stole focus from the other tasks, and left me emotionally raw. I started second-guessing the other moves I'd made that day. Most people stop here, and that's a huge mistake. They chalk it up to bad luck. But the real problem wasn't luck. I was just not ready. Here's the harsh lesson. I tried to shortcut the long game. I skipped the single most important step, validation. I built and launched before asking one simple question. Would anyone actually pay for this? I had no customer call, no test audience, no proof. In my rush, I'd mistaken working aimless for progress. That arrogance cost me time, confidence, and momentum. This failure hurt, but it exposed my own flaw, impulsive execution without validation and planning. Hit that like button and subscribe if you are loving this type of content. Task 6, Investing, the 3-hour emotional whiplash. This task unfolded as a powerful story of failure to redemption. Coming straight off the side hustle disaster, my confidence was bruised. I'd just watched 5 hours vanish with nothing to show for it, and that's when I made the next mistake. I tried to make my money feel better. With just 16 hours left, I told myself, trading will fix this. I'll recover fast. And this is where logic packed its bags and emotions took the wheel. For the first hour, I ignored everything I already knew. I chased a flashy stock tip I'd seen trending online. I moved a chunk of money that should have stayed calm and protected, straight into a hot pick. And for a moment, it worked. The numbers went green. My ego inflated. I felt smart again. But here's the part nobody warns you about loud enough. The moment the stock dipped in the next hour, my heartbeat spiked. I stared at the screen, refreshed, again and again. I exited in panic, locking in a loss. Just like that, my attempt to recover from one failure created another. That was 2 hours wasted. Instead of spiraling, something clicked. I remembered the strategy I'd admired but conveniently avoided for months. SIP, Systematic Investment Plan. It's slow, repetitive, and boring, the exact opposite of my emotional chaos. So I spent the next hour doing it properly. I opened my investment app, selected 2 mutual funds I'd researched long ago but never acted on, set up a monthly SIP, automated it. No drama, no charts, no constant refreshing, just consistency. The first half of this task exposed my worst flaw. I still confused excitement with intelligence. I wanted speed and quick money, not stability. I wanted a dopamine hit, not a system. But the second half, that was growth. This was no longer gambling. This was structure. This was maturity. And for the first time in this 48-hour chaos, I felt something I hadn't felt before. Control. Task 7, Cutting Food and Coffee Costs. Midway through day 2, I returned to the basics. Instead of ordering pizza or attempting lunch, I used what was already in my fridge. And that coffee habit, I ditched the drive-thru and trusted my French press at home. Again, it sounds small, but it adds up. My calculations provided that I spent an average of $670 monthly on dining out and takeaways and coffee. It was time to dramatically reduce it and do meal prep at home. These changes were low drama but high impact. Quick, easy wins that left more money in my pocket. My budget started breathing a little easier. Task 8, Selling Unused Stuff. With the clock screaming 11 hours left, I did something brutally honest. I rated my own lifestyle, closet, drawers, storage boxes, corners I hadn't touched in years. And what I found wasn't stuff. It was silent financial crime scenes. Gadgets bought out of boredom. Clothes worn once for that one occasion. Books I swore I'd read but never opened. All of it once felt exciting. Now it just felt heavy. By hour 37, I had listed everything online. By hour 40, I had notifications popping. Around $150 cash. Real money, instantly, an old tablet, a dusty game console, forgotten textbooks, gone. Each item I sold forced one brutal question into my head. If this wasn't already mine, would I buy it again today? The answer was painfully clear. No, not even close. Every sale felt like reversing a bad decision, undoing impulse, erasing emotional shopping, taking power back. This wasn't just money recovered, this was my mindset being rewired. And that shift, that is a psychological breakthrough most people never experience. I had only 8 hours left and 2 more decisions that needed attention. Task 9, educating myself, the most underrated power move. With the chaos still echoing and the clock ticking, I made one decision that didn't promise quick money, but guaranteed long-term transformation. I invested 6 solid hours into educating myself, not casually, intentionally. I booked future paid sessions with financial mentors who would guide me beyond this challenge. I committed to a non-negotiable 4 hours every week just for learning. No excuses, no distractions. This wasn't scrolling finance reels for motivation. This was structured growth. I dissected how fees silently bleed your wealth, how inflation quietly steals your future purchasing power, and how a credit score is less about income and more about discipline. Every insight felt like another blindfold coming off. I started learning the art of investing and made notes. Here's where it gets interesting. This didn't make me money instantly, but it made me dangerous in the long run. Because now I wasn't guessing. I was understanding. For the first time, money stopped feeling confusing and started feeling controllable. I wasn't just reacting to problems, I was building the intelligence to prevent them. This wasn't just another task, this was the most powerful system I built. A lifelong finance blueprint that turned this 48-hour chaos into a challenge that actually mattered. Task 10, selling digital products. With only 2 hours left, I went all in. No safety net, no overthinking, just instinct. I decided to build and sell a digital product, a finance planner ebook, my last shot at turning this challenge around. I drafted it fast, built a basic product page on Etsy using Canva, and even pushed a quick ad live. This was my Hail Mary moment. And then, silence. No clicks, no sales, just the brutal echo of reality. It failed completely. But here's the part that changes everything. I wasn't discouraged, I was relieved because for the first time, I wasn't guessing anymore. I had real-world feedback, and that feedback screamed one thing: preparation saves execution. Yes, it failed, but I walked away smarter, sharper, and one step closer to a product that will work. And who knows, I might try 2 more or 20 more digital products as well in future. I had tested the waters, and honestly, I'm glad I tried. The clock ran out, but somewhere between the failure and the chaos, I became the winner. 48 hours ago, I thought smart money was about speed. Now I know it's about education, patience, and brutal self-awareness. I failed, I panicked, I rushed, but I also built habits that will outlive this challenge. I stopped chasing quick wins and started designing long-term stability. I replaced emotional decisions with structure, impulse with intention, and noise with clarity. Investing humbled me first, then disciplined me. And education? That became my biggest superpower. Here's the question no one asks. What if your biggest financial breakthrough doesn't come from earning more, but from thinking differently? Because that's what changed everything. This challenge didn't just test my money, it rewired my relationship with it. And now I'm even more curious. If this resonated, don't miss my next videos, where I break down finances to reshape the way you make, save, and grow money.